Welcome to Enlightenment with Julian, your gateway to a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. In each episode, Julian delves into the essence of wisdom and self-esteem, offering insights and messages to inspire your growth. Now, here's your host, Julian, to guide you on this transformative journey towards living your best life.
Have you ever stopped for a moment to think how truly powerful your mind is? Just sit down and think of all the wonders that the mind can do for you. It can shape your reality, drive your decisions, and even control your perspective of the world at large. It allows you to communicate and truly express your emotions, display your creativity, and even help you evolve and advance as society progresses and begins to change for the better or for the worse. With all these powers, the mind is vulnerable to many weaknesses, from the simple headaches and fatigue to complex feelings such as depression and low self-esteem. One of the weaknesses that plagues the mind is one that thousands, if not millions of people have to deal with on a day-by-day basis. It is so debilitating to where a power can crush and cripple the hopes and aspirations of many. My fellow listeners, come with me as we explore one of our actions that attempts to conquer our thoughts. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Enlightenment podcast. In this episode, we will explore how the mind can portray us, how we can portray ourselves by overthinking the smallest of flaws, and how overthinking may reflect on us. Overthinking is self-explanatory. It's where you put more thought and time into the minuscule things that are irrelevant. Sometimes we overthink things that are almost out of our hands. And as we worry and stress about things, we as people sometimes are or aren't even aware of the causes that brings us to the point of thinking so hard it's unnecessary. Overthinking may stem from that debilitating fear of making a mistake. Sometimes when we make a mistake, we are fearful of being judged by others, which makes people like you and me worry immensely. Overthinking can also be derived from perfectionism. When we establish high expectations and standards for ourselves, we fear not being seen as good enough, whether in the eyes of other people or your own eyes. When you fail to meet those expectations, it begins to make you question your self-worth and if you will ever be good enough, fueling the overwhelming and stressful activity, which is overthinking. Sadly, overthinking can be brought on by emotional hardship and trauma. In a way, overthinking is more of a response that can be found in someone's childhood after some time of being neglected, invalidated, or even abused. To some, overthinking can be seen as a way for people to cope and to feel in control of a situation or environment. In a way, it grants that feeling of being secure. Overthinking can be enabling, yet so restrictive in different regards and aspects. Overthinking can allow people like you and me to be too critical of ourselves, to reflect too poorly on ourselves, and to fuel our low self-esteem. This can also prevent us from taking the initiative and making vital decisions, in fear that any decision that we do make is the wrong decision, when that may not even be the case. What makes this worse is that because we are too afraid to make that wrong decision, we perhaps become unfortunate when that overthinking causes us to miss an opportunity that someone else like you could have had. When you overthink, especially when that unhealthy habit is constant, you become skeptical of everything, or perhaps everyone around you. Whether they have an offer that sounds too good to be true or real, or something that could be life altering in a positive way, because you were too fearful of accepting and facing that potential opportunity with determination. And now you missed out on what could have been potentially great for you, drawing up a nice bath of self-resentment. However, I must mention that it is okay to be questionable things, even when it sounds too good to be true. Sometimes being skeptical of things can also be a benefit and can protect us from physical harm or emotional harm. I bet there were times in your life when you were unsure about something that just sounded like heaven to you. Maybe it was just so good you needed advice from friends or family on whether your hands should firmly grasp that opportunity. That feeling of uncertainty and skepticism is normal to have. But sometimes we as people tend to blur the lines between being skeptical and being irrational when it comes to our way of thinking. Now, there is no definitive way to get rid of your emotionally chronic pain of overthinking, as that is a natural thing like getting old. Overthinking will stay, unfortunately. However, if you're really looking for some way to minimize your overthinking, here are at least 4 things that I've learned as someone who suffers from overthinking. 1. Risk taking and common sensing. My friend, take risk. Listen, life is too short to always pass up on opportunities, but that doesn't mean don't be cautious or perhaps even curious. Make sure you actually take the time to ask questions, do your research to see what you're getting into. With doing these, it can help you with making better decisions because now you're informed about whatever that's going to happen, instead of just blindly saying yes or even no. My friend, be risky, be smart. Number 2, discernment. Now I want you to remember this word, discernment. Having discernment is having the ability to judge but to judge properly. Before you can accept that opportunity, or even when you do accept it, you should have a level of discernment and caution. It's like having that gut feeling of being unsure about something. Like you have your conscience telling you, like, hey, I'm not too sure this is a good idea. I think the best thing that you could probably do in this situation is leave because something bad might happen. I feel like something bad is going to happen. Or maybe stay. See what else goes on, and maybe it's something actually good. But if something starts to pop off and starts getting crazy and hectic, that's when you should leave. My friend, that is discernment. That is your mind telling you whether or not you should stay because something good is about to happen to you, or you should leave because something bad, something dangerous, something harmful is going to happen to you. And you know for sure something bad is going to happen or something good is going to happen. That's called having discernment. If something genuinely seems questionable and off, that could be your intuition trying to protect you by warning you. Number 3, reflection after rejection. When you do miss out or even reject an opportunity, you might feel angry at yourself for rejecting that opportunity in the first place. And trust me, I had many opportunities for things that I turned down, that I decided to let pass by. And there were days where I was angry at myself because I chose not to take that opportunity that could have benefited me for miles and miles ahead. I sat in self-loathing because it's like I could have had something going for myself, and yet I chose not to take it. But let me tell you this. There is nothing wrong with being angry and upset with yourself when you turn down an opportunity. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating to see how successful you could have been or how favorable that opportunity could have been in your situation had you just taken the chance. But let me tell you this. Don't wallow in rejection. Formulate your own opportunity to better yourself and learn from it. Because when you're able to formulate a plan or formulate your own opportunity to better your standing and situation, that will take you so much farther than what that original opportunity had for you. That's why whenever people say, oh, Julian, I missed out on this opportunity, I always tell them this. Don't take the L as a loss. Take it as a learning experience. Because it's true. When you take the L as a loss, you're not learning anything. You're not growing as a person. You're not really bettering your situation. You're just sitting there feeling like a loser. Instead, you should be sitting there feeling like a learner because you're taking the time to see what you did wrong and how you could change your outlook. And that, my friend, is how you better yourself for when the next opportunity comes awry. Number 4, be patient but not idle. Sometimes you have to wait for another opportunity to come into your life. And it's okay. Sometimes waiting is the best thing But having to wait does not mean having to be idle. Because, my friend, as you sit there doing absolutely nothing as the world passes by, there could be a chance that you might miss out on another opportunity. Really think about it. You have people waiting years and years and years just to get another opportunity that they missed. And sometimes waiting is useful. But that doesn't mean that they always sat there being always idle. That doesn't mean they just stand still and just wait for our opportunities to come to them. Sometimes they have to forge their own opportunity to get to where they are. So go out in the world to find other opportunities, but be patient when that opportunity is searching for you. Bill Withers said it best: good things come to those who wait, not to those who wait too late. As I said before, I'm guilty of overthinking. I'm a chronic overthinker. There's not a single day where I don't overthink something. With time, however, I realized that overthinking made me more fearful of not just other people and what they can bring into my life, but it also made me afraid of myself. With me overthinking every little aspect of myself and the world around me, it made me question my self-worth, as if I was deserving of anything, whether I felt good enough for such positive things in my life. Whether it was talking to new people or trying something new, I always allowed overthinking to dictate every little moment because I am afraid of making a mistake or embarrassing myself or screwing up. Because I realized that for me, in order to grow as a person, I need to accept my fumbles. I need to accept my mistakes and use them as building blocks to better myself and to define my progress. And you should too. At the end of the day, the impact of overthinking is important to understand, since it takes effect in our day-to-day lives. It not only shapes your decisions and your thoughts, but also influence your emotions, as well as your perception of yourself. Recognizing how overthinking can stem from perfectionism or past experiences allows people like you and me to take proactive steps towards managing it. By gaining the proper awareness of its implications, we can empower ourselves to break free from this grip and embrace a healthier mindset. As you reflect on today's discussion, I encourage you to take a moment to apply these strategies that we covered. Whether it's taking a well-calculated risk, practicing discernment, reflecting on rejection, or even finding a balance between patience and action. Each step you take bring you closer to overcoming that cycle of overthinking. Implementing these techniques in your life every day. Observe how they influence your decision making and self-confidence. and compare and admire the noticeable growth that you've made because you chose to implement these things. To leave you all this final thought, overthinking is a habit that can either hold you back or push you forward, depending on how you manage it. Let me ask you this. Are you truly ready to take control of your thoughts and turn them into the stepping stones for growth, for improvement? Because, my friend, choices like that are yours. Get started today, and always remember to keep the candle burning.
Thank you for listening to Enlightenment with Julian Nicholas. We hope today's episode has sparked new insights and empowered you on your path to personal growth. For more inspiration and wisdom, be sure to subscribe and follow. Connect with Julian on Instagram at enlightenment_pod. And if you found value in the show, please tell someone else. Join Julian next time as he continues his journey towards enlightenment. Until then, remember to embrace your journey and live your best life.